Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 147 based on novel. Swallowed Star 2 novel continue writing by the author, so video length will be short. So let's start. The huge painting covered an endless and vast range. In an instant, the 5 figures all merged into the painting and disappeared. Meanwhile, black rain poured down, and white mist began to emerge. The white mist caused the temperature to drop sharply, to an unfathomable extent. Ridiculous! Luo Feng sneered, his body swaying as it became towering and gigantic, with a thick layer of blood-colored scale armor covering his body. The blood-colored scales, layer upon layer, enveloped every part of his body. Beneath Luo Feng's feet, an immense, boundless, endless blood sea spread out. Inside Luo Feng's body, there was a secret treasure formation diagram. This was one of the 2 secret treasures Luo Feng relied on for battle, the life and death calamity diagram, which he had borrowed 300,000 chaotic origin crystals for before this hunt, along with the remaining points he had to purchase this formation diagram. It contained the profound mysteries of life and destruction at the late-stage God Emperor. The purpose of buying this formation was to aid his physical body, the indestructible blood sea body. Boom ~~, the formation diagram activated. The endless, surging blood sea became even more ferocious. With the help of the formation diagram, it instantly swept across billions of kilometers, turning the vast area covered by the huge painting into a blood-red world. In this blood-red world, there were endless waves of blood below and endless blood mist above. This was the life and death calamity diagram, combined with his indestructible blood sea body, a large-scale domain technique, blood sea heaven and earth, created by Luo Feng. Once the blood sea heaven and earth formed, the surrounding vast area became part of his body. Luo Feng's endless vitality-filled blood sea crushed the painting and the 3 kinds of domain forces, rain, white mist, and the painting itself. The massive painting collapsed under the overwhelming force. The black rain, though full of terrifying toxicity and penetration, could not affect Luo Feng as his physical vitality was stronger and his recovery ability was greater. The blood sea consumed a portion, but the black rain needed to consume 10 times more. The black rain quickly dispersed. The white mist, which contained extreme cold, could not freeze the blood sea. Boom ~~, the blood sea surged, rampaging forward. The black rain was scattered, the white mist was covered, and the massive painting was torn apart. Not good. We've provoked a formidable opponent. At the moment the giant painting was torn apart, the 5 figures were forced to show themselves. They revealed expressions of surprise, realizing they had encountered something tough. It was worth noting that these domain techniques had been executed by 3 of them working together, but now they were being suppressed by Luo Feng alone. The difference in domains indicated that Luo Feng was not to be trifled with. Being good at domains doesn't mean being strong in other aspects. Since we've started, retreat is not an option. Let's kill them. The 5 were all middle-stage God Emperor who had comprehended the Tao, so they naturally had great confidence. First, eliminate the weak one. A figure in white robes looked towards Di Qing. In an instant, an endless light appeared, shining as it reached Di Qing. Do you think I'm easy to deal with? Di Qing instantly transformed into a sword formation. He knew his limits and focused all his efforts on countering this white-robed figure. Your opponent is me. Luo Feng's towering body roared. The endless blood sea surged out in all directions, sweeping toward the 5 formidable enemies. Since you seek death ~~, I'll grant it. The cold-faced man glared at Luo Feng, his body turning into black mud. However, the black mud disappeared from a distance and appeared on Luo Feng's body surface. Tiny black mud infiltrated the blood-colored scales on Luo Feng's body. This power? Luo Feng felt the black mud's terrifying toxicity and penetration ability. It was a more dangerous version of the black rain from earlier. But Luo Feng's physical body was built with reference to the Star Tower's blood-colored scales and the ultimate unbreakable core. His body's greatest characteristic was its indestructibility. Why is his body so hard to penetrate? The cold-faced man felt immense frustration as he eroded, but he himself was continuously consuming energy. It still requires direct confrontation. Endless white mist gathered in the air, transforming into a gigantic ice creature. This ice creature, towering and imposing like Luo Feng, had 2 heads and 8 arms, all formed entirely from ice. Under the illumination, it was transparent and stunningly beautiful. It instantly charged at Luo Feng, attacking with all 8 arms. Break! Luo Feng's fists clenched, his hands wearing treasure gloves, but he didn't unleash his full power at once. Luo Feng didn't care about the directions of the 8 arms, instead sending his fists forward. The space in front trembled violently, crushing 4 of the attacking arms and ultimately landing a blow on the ice creature's chest. The force of the blow created a huge hole in its chest, and the creature was sent flying by the powerful impact. He's fighting so ferociously? The 5 formidable enemies were shocked. Each practitioner had their strengths, and being skilled in domains didn't mean they were strong in other aspects. But Luo Feng's large-scale domain and close combat skills were incredibly strong, even among middle-stage God Emperor. Let's attack together. Surround and kill him. The black mud continued to infiltrate the surface of Luo Feng's towering body. The ice creature's chest wound quickly healed as ice closed over the injury. It took a step and charged at Luo Feng with extreme aggression. More blue ribbons appeared, covering vast space, binding Luo Feng from all sides. Luo Feng had nowhere to escape. A massive blood serpent appeared suddenly. Its flexible body instantly coiled around Luo Feng's right leg and waist. This terrifying force caused Luo Feng to feel a sharp pang of pain. At that moment, Luo Feng struggled, but the blue ribbons were too tough, likely a very powerful treasure, and Luo Feng couldn't break free. Crack 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 tilde tilde. The great serpent's crushing force caused slight cracks to appear in Luo Feng's blood-colored scales, but they quickly healed. Despite the siege of 4 enemies, Luo Feng's body could still endure. This body of his is truly resilient. There's barely any damage. But he can't resist. We'll suppress and imprison him and slowly kill him. The 4 strong figures from the Guile workshop exchanged messages through their minds. From afar, Di Qing, who was engaged in battle with another formidable enemy, noticed the situation and began to worry. Facing 4 alone is still too difficult. The 4 from Guile workshop are too troublesome. Though concerned, Di Qing remained calm. They were powerful beings from the source world, and even if they died today, they had clones. Luo Feng was bound and unable to resist, yet he suddenly laughed. Do you think this is my real body? Luo Feng laughed at them. I named my self-created body technique the Indestructible Blood Sea Body. Do you know why I named it that? Upon hearing this, the 5 formidable figures immediately realized something was wrong. Because the Blood Sea is my true body. Luo Feng laughed loudly as his towering form instantly collapsed, turning into a rolling blood sea that merged into the vast, endless blood sea. Yes. The indestructible blood sea body, with the endless blood sea occupying 80% of his energy reserves, and the condensed physical body only accounting for 20%. Moreover, his body could freely shift between the blood sea and physical form, which was the true essence of indestructibility. The 4 Guile workshop attackers were momentarily stunned as the towering figure they had surrounded turned into blood waves, merging into the endless blood sea. Now what do we do? Boom tilde tilde, the blood sea surged, covering the entire world in an instant. Secret treasure formation, life and death calamity diagram, first calamity, life and death prison. At the core of the vast and endless blood sea, in the eye of the blood sea, a spatial prison naturally formed in conjunction with the secret treasure formation. This prison tightly enveloped the massive black mud. The black mud transformed into a cold-faced gloomy man. What is this? The cold-faced gloomy man looked around. This was a spatial prison formed within the eye of the blood sea, completely isolated from the outside world. Life force flowed endlessly, continuously wearing down the enemy. It's better to cut off 1 finger than to injure 10. Luo Feng's figure appeared within the prison. I'll kill you first. Luo Feng was well aware of his own limits. His indestructible blood sea body, combined with the formation diagram's prison, could only imprison a single enemy at a time. If he tried to imprison too many, he risked failure, allowing the enemies to break free. By imprisoning just one, Luo Feng had a much higher chance of success. "Do you think you can kill me?" The cold-faced gloomy man spoke while carefully observing his surroundings. As the formation operated, chains formed from condensed life force appeared out of thin air, naturally binding the cold-faced gloomy man, leaving him no room to resist. "His strength surpasses mine. I can't afford to take any chances." The cold-faced gloomy man realized the dire situation and immediately activated a life-saving treasure. The tilde. In an instant, the cold-faced gloomy man's body became ethereal, slipping free from the entangling chains and colliding against the spatial prison. Though the prison tried its best to block him, he still managed to penetrate through. However, right after that, he crashed into the layered membrane walls of the Eye of the Blood Sea. The Eye of the Blood Sea was the core of the indestructible Blood Sea body, akin to an internal world where Luo Feng's heaven and earth clone merged with it, further reinforcing the Eye of the Blood Sea. Boom tilde. The ethereal cold-faced gloomy man crashed into the membranes of the Eye of the Blood Sea, and his momentum was exhausted after breaking through 3 layers in a row. This treasure was skilled in fleeing, but it was inferior in penetrating spatial barriers. After breaking through the spatial prison and the 3 layers of the Eye of the Blood Sea, he could no longer escape. What? The cold-faced gloomy man regretted his choices at that moment, regretted not purchasing more life-saving treasures. He had thought that moving with 4 companions would ensure a high level of safety, so having just 1 life-saving treasure would suffice. "It seems you failed to escape." The rapidly recovering spatial prison once again enveloped the cold-faced gloomy man. Luo Feng's figure appeared, looking at him with a faint smile. "It seems you're truly going to die today. Spare me. Please, spare me." The gloomy man, once again bound by the chains that formed out of thin air, his body was being consumed by the life force, and he couldn't help but panic. "If you let me go, I can give you all the treasures on my body." What a joke. "Once you're dead, won't all your treasures be mine anyway?" Luo Feng looked at him. "I have many friends in the Guile workshop. If you kill me, you'll make many powerful enemies." The gloomy man quickly added. "So what you're saying is that only you are allowed to kill me, but I am not allowed to kill you?" Luo Feng spoke as the life and death prison continued its relentless assault, eroding the gloomy man's physical body. His energy dwindled rapidly. No, the gloomy man was in a panic, desperately sending out a transmission to his 4 companions. The other 4 experts of the Guile workshop were momentarily dazed. The boundless blood sea surged, and one of their companions had been imprisoned. This blood sea is his body. He must have an internal space and is skilled at imprisoning enemies. These 4 experts were completely unable to locate the Eye of the Blood Sea within the vast endless ocean. "Help me tilde, help me. I used my life-saving treasure and still couldn't escape. Hurry and save me." Hearing their companion's desperate plea, the 4 experts were shocked. "Luo Feng, you haven't been in Yulon City for long. If you kill Kumo, his master and his friends will surely come after you." The ice-cold creature spoke. "If you kill him, the Guile workshop will not let you go for the sake of its reputation." The giant serpent also said coldly. Ha ha ha, the boundless blood sea resounded with laughter. "Do you think I as an expert of the origin world fears making enemies? If you want to kill me, go ahead and try. I'd love to see, in the end, who should truly fear whom." This video will end here.